Hello and welcome to another edition of After the Whistle, July 7th, 2021. We back from 4th of July festivities and all that stuff. Yeah, we're here.
Yeah, I'm back, like always.
There's a lot going on in the sports world. A lot going on. But first, I was in Atlanta, and I've seen something that I never saw before. A pickup basketball game, 2s and 3s, game 211, and I was so utterly confused as to why they was doing this. And the worst part is, the dudes that were playing were nice. Usually you'd see that from people that aren't good. These dudes were nice.
Yeah, I mean, I guess just the number system. They want to make sure they keep the score correct. We play by ones and twos for the most part. But most you ones sometimes, just because we don't really care about like 2s and 3s. We just, I feel like it's a confidence thing as well. Like, I feel like if you're good enough to compete and play and make shots from any spot on the court, it shouldn't matter if it's 2s or 3s, especially in pickup.
Yeah, and if they were going to do that and it was like game 21, I'd be like, okay, that makes a little sense, but game was 11, so it's like you sweat. You can't even break a sweat. You blink, it's like 2-3, it's like 8-0 already.
Yeah, and that's where the logic has to come into play. If you're only playing until like game 11, you know what I mean? Like, you don't need 2s and 3s because if you're playing with people that are good, it's only a couple possessions, the game's over. And you want the game to become a good game. That's why you play with ones.
Which made no. I was legit just like, I was so confused. I played the first 2 games I played. I'm like, I'm out of this.
It's supposed to prolong the game, so you can enjoy the game. And, But one thing I would say, about y'all bathroom here in the whole building, like, I turned the fan on, sounded I was getting abducted by aliens. It was like, boom, 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 boom. Things started blinking. Something's about to bust in there.
Hey, man, that's the Hall Company. You got to talk to the Hall Company. That's not us. They're the ones responsible for the bathroom. Oh, man. NBA Finals is here, but we're going to get to the NBA Finals in a bit. We just got to, let you guys know how we got to the NBA Finals. And we got to go back to the Western and Eastern Conference Finals. First up, the Western Conference Finals, where it turned into the Chris Paul show in the second half. He just completely took over that game in the second half. It was just started off slow. Then it was like, we're doing this pick and roll. Y'all going to keep switching, and I'm just going to keep giving y'all buckets. And then your point guard's going to get mad and shove me in the back because he can't handle all these buckets I'm giving him.
Chris Paul, we all know was the difference with Phoenix from last year to this year. He was sick of losing, man. And he had his opportunity to shine, and he showed people why he's Chris Paul. Because like a lot of people, they probably didn't think he could put up 41, 4, and 8 with no turnovers. How many threes he make? He made like what?
I think 4.
Like 4 or 5.
No, that one he made 7.
Yeah, all right. So he made 7 threes. I told you, ain't no way he was gonna go over 6 again from 3-point line. He was shooting the thing out the ball. So like that, this game was all him. To be honest with you, like there was nothing really Clippers could do with Chris Paul because he was the maestro, and then Ayton coming through with 16 and 17, that double-double. Yeah. Him consistently getting double-doubles in playoffs and big games as well is beneficial for the Suns to move on.
It was all their guys all stepped up. Their major guys stepped up. The guys with the big roles, they all stepped up. And then the role players too, Jay Crowder, knocking down 5 3-pointers. Mikal Bridges, even though he didn't have a good game, he didn't have the best game, but he had a good enough game, 9 points. But he's becoming one of the better two-way players in the league because he could knock you down and he could make open shots too.
Yeah, he kind of gets forgotten about because like during the playoffs they're focusing more running the ball through Booker, Ayton, and Paul, and he's getting, I want to say, the loose end points, which is not a problem because he's coming through in crucial points of the game. Yeah. He's making big shots from the corners and coming up with great defensive possessions. But let's talk about the Clippers, though. Like, what happened with them? Like, I get it. Paul George couldn't keep them on their back the whole entire playoffs because they've been coming through holes the entire time. But, like, their bench guys, their role players didn't really do much. Getting outboarded by 15 points was kind of like, what? That really isn't the Clipper culture that we've been used to seeing.
Yeah, their role players were kind of up and down this series. They weren't as consistent as they needed to be in this one, knowing that they had to be because they don't have Kawhi to kind of take some of the load off Paul George, because Paul George was doing a lot since Kawhi got hurt. So I think he got worn down. And then if you look at it, Reggie Jackson's like the only other guy that can consistently just go for his own shot or find his own shot.
Yeah, and even he was struggling shooting 4 for 12 and 2 for 7. Like, and Marcus Morris Senior's always been a bucket getter, and thankfully he came to play, or else this game would have been even worse. But like Terrence Mann, love supporting him, but I wish he would have been a little more. I want to say assertive in offense and a little more aggressive. Just because 5 and 3 and 0 is that's tough when you're getting over 20 minutes a game, especially with that team when you're allowed to be a little more. I want to say selfish with the ball at times because they need scoring and they need somebody to do something in certain positions.
Yeah, and now they got to figure out what they're going to do in the offseason as far as moves to find a way to keep this team healthy to make a playoff run, because if they have some of these guys returning, there'll be a team that could be picked to come out the West like they have been the past couple years, but they just need to stay healthy and they need to switch a couple things within their role players, but they'll be fine. And then we go to Atlanta, where the Bucks, they closed it out in 6. Got some big games from Chris Middleton, Brook Lopez, all those guys, Drew Holiday. Those guys stepped up big in that one in the closeout game. What the I can't forget his name, man. Ice Tray, he was in the game, but he wasn't himself, and you could just tell he wasn't himself. Granted, he was out there trying to keep the team alive, but he needs to be. He's those guys. He needs to be 100% because of his style of play.
It's kind of like Iverson with the Sixers. Like they're only going to go as far as he goes, just because he's so ball dominant and he puts the ball in the basket, and he does get guys involved just because he's such an offensive threat. But then shout out to Drew Holiday, man. He's been struggling in the playoffs a little bit. Having 25-13. That definitely helped the Bucks. And Mr. Lopez, I seen something. Mr. Lopez had been 33-7. I seen Jeff Van Gundy on the game yesterday was talking about how he has to change his game when when Giannis came out when he got injured, and I'm like, nah, he went back to doing what got him to the NBA, was being a big man. Yeah. But it's hard. You have to change your game playing with Giannis because he I want to say takes up all the paint space that you kind of have to be a stretch 5. Yeah. Just because, like, Giannis doesn't really care to shoot the ball and he clogs up the middle. So, unfortunately, Brook was able to be Brook for one game. Yeah. But let's see if that's able to.
Or they could just not have both of them on the court at the same time. Cause this is true. That's another thing. But that's another story for another day. And then you got to give out you got to congratulate their bench, too. Give a shout-out to their bench, too. Their bench came in there. It's got 29 points. Connaughton, 13. Teague, 11. These guys really, they closed it out when they needed to close it out because nobody ever knows what happens in a Game 7, even if you're at home. And the Hawks just won a Game 7 in the previous series. So it's a good thing that these guys did their job, closed it out, because if they prolonged it, that's just more rest for Phoenix. More rest Phoenix would have had.
I think they realized that because they out-rebounded them, had less turnovers, less fouls. So they were trying to play almost the perfect game. Yeah. And, one thing I would say, shout out to Bogdanovic for, 28, 7 for 16 from the three-point line. Like, he was balling for the Hawks when they had no Trey, just because, like, somebody had to put it down. He's been hooping all playoffs.
Yeah, so Cam Reddish, too. He's the biggest benefactor there because now he got the playing time because we both forgot that he was on the team, and he got the playing time, and he put numbers up in that time that he got in. So hopefully this is a big stepping stone for this team next year because I think they have all these guys under contract for next year, so a lot of these guys are coming back.
So, but my whole issue with them in the playoffs was, when were you ever going to start Gallinari? He's instant offense, but you keep him coming off the bench when you have no Trey. You need somebody to plug in there that can get you a bucket. Gallinari is consistently getting you double figures off the bench. I don't understand why they said start him. But next year.
Yeah, we'll see what happens next year. But these guys, they got a lot of these guys coming back, so they'll be one of the fun teams to watch. All right, now we could go on to last night, Game 1 of the NBA Finals. And, man, that was quite the game, actually. I enjoyed watching this. It was entertaining. You saw this whole playoff has been the DeAndre Ayton coming out party. Because I know we all know about Booker. We all know about Chris Paul. But this guy, DeAndre Ayton, he's had to deal with Anthony Davis for a little bit. He held his own against him. Had to deal with the MVP really held his own against him, and now he's dealing with a two-time MVP, and that he had a great start. I think he almost had a 20-20 game.
Yeah, 22 and 19. Shot 8 for 10 from the field. Man, he's playing outstanding, especially for being so young in the league. People forget, like he's only like 20, 22?
21, 22, yeah.
So he's young, competing with these caliber of players, man, it's only going to make him better. And Giannis was definitely trying to bully him at the beginning of the game. You know, they need to call some of them offensive fouls, just been throwing that. Granted, you could lift it, but the way he was flinging that thing, I get it. Them guys are big bodies, but, just let's just be a little more, I want to say, consistent and rewarding to the defensive player as well, because they're working hard just like the guys on offense are.
Yeah, they are. And I think it was a stat, like something like it's him, Kareem, and I think Tim Duncan and maybe Shaq had like a shot like 70% from the field, grabbing like a double-double or something like that. I think it was Shaq, or it might have been someone else, but I know it was Kareem and Tim Duncan in that category. And the more and more he plays well, and then how we saw Trae Young play well, and how we seen Luka play well in the playoffs, even though they haven't won a series yet. They haven't won a series yet. And then you go back and look at that number 2 pick in that draft, and you're just like, oh boy. How do people still have jobs over there in Sacramento? Because passing up on these guys, and hey, Marvin Bagley's not turning out to be the player that people thought he was going to be turning out to be. There's he's more concerned about making diss tracks than actually being a good basketball player.
They got time. They got time. We'll see. He might need a better situation, especially Sacramento. Like, it's tough.
Yeah,
how many stars have you really had from Sacramento other than White Chocolate, Chris Webber?
Yeah, but it just looks bad. It just looks worse and worse as these guys continue they're progressing and getting better, and it's like we're just not hearing about him. But one thing about this game, when the Bucks made a run, when the Clippers went up by 18, let's say Clippers, when the Suns went up by 18 to 20, the Bucks got back into the game, but then it seemed like the Suns always had a response for him, and sometimes it'd be Chris Paul, or it would be a role player. Like the guy I really like out of this, Cam Johnson. He came back from COVID. I think he had positive. He came back scoring 10 points, but it was his defense too. He was playing great defense on Giannis and stopping him from getting in there.
I was gonna say, like, both benches are being productive, but the 20 points out of Cam Johnson and Payne, I feel like they're more of a benefit for the Suns compared to what the bench from Milwaukee is doing. Like you said, defensive pressure as well. It just seems like those two guys are just giving the Suns more of a boost than Milwaukee's benches, because the points are spread out, but it just seems like they're not getting what they need to get off Milwaukee's bench. But also, too, like, it's tough to beat any team in the finals when you're only shooting 56% from the free throw line.
Yeah.
So no matter how far your run goes, it kind of stops a little because you can't make the freebies.
Yeah.
So time stops. You should be putting them points on the board, but you're leaving points out there. So, and them shooting 46, 32, 96% from the field completely from the whole game is,
And you're not going to get much if you're not getting to the line, too, because the Suns got to the line. They made 25 straight. They were 25 for 25 before Jay Crowder missed one late at the end of the game. But the Suns were attacking the basket, and they were getting to the line. And these guys seemed like they were searching for fouls instead of just going hard to the basket and getting the call. They were kind of searching for the calls.
You shooting 96% for the game from the free throw line, which that's what I meant to say earlier. Why wouldn't you want to go to the free throw line? It's the easiest shot in basketball. So if your team's hot like that and they're calling the game the way it is, and you know how to get to the line, continue to get there. Yeah. Foul guys out, because you want Giannis on the bench.
Oh yeah. And he looked good for a while, but then you could tell he was still kind of like a little out of game shape, because he had chest breathing. He was huffing and puffing. But back to free throws, I think it's quite hilarious, the countdown when he's on the free throw line.
Yeah.
The
countdown's a little quick, though. It's a little quick.
Those things are with the fans counting down. That thing is hilarious, and it's really getting to him too, because he'll miss like 3 or 4 in a row. And he was 7 for 12 in this one, but it really gets to him too, and it's hilarious.
I think the way he flicks his wrist, he doesn't actually just like flick it down. He lets everything hold, and he's such a long person. Like, he back rims a lot of shots, so I think he's completely flicked it. He'd be all right.
Yeah. He's got a little bit better throughout the years, but yeah, I mean, he needs to get a little drastically better, because
it's just physics.
Yeah, because with him,
Physics.
as much as he attacks the rim, then the points he could get, he had 10, 12 extra points.
And too, he should honestly work on that mid-range pull-up.
Yeah.
If he's not gonna, do what the new NBA focuses on and shooting 3-pointers, at least you got to pull up because we know you're going to the basket.
Yeah.
So at least pull up to make you a little predictable, a little unpredictable.
Yeah.
And it allows your bigs to be bigs because for Lopez to have 17 and 6, that's a problem. We need him to get 17 and 10 for them. For them to.
Yeah, they need
NBA
more guys
finals.
in there with getting double digit rebounds.
Yeah.
But game 2 is Thursday. Yeah, game two is Thursday. Well, for the Bucks, this is 3 rounds in a row. They've lost the first game of the series. They went down 2-0 against the Nets. They went down 1-0 against the Hawks, and now 1-0 here. So they're just probably like, got them right where we want them. But this Suns team, I'll say it again, they have been the most consistent team in the playoffs since these playoffs started. So.
They've been one of the most consistent teams all season.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It starts with your leader. It starts up top, and then they got a great GM, great coach.
Yeah. I think the GM won like GM of the year. I believe
They got great everything over there.
Yeah,
They
definitely. And everybody
weather.
knows their role. Everybody knows their role. All the guys know their role. Nobody does more than they're asked to do or they try to do anything extra. So
I mean, they need to stay in their role because that's what creates winning. They've been losing for so many years.
Yeah.
I'm glad they switched things up, man.
And it's also good that we're gonna get a different NBA champion than we're normally used to seeing. And people are trying to complain that this won't be an exciting final. They're like, y'all are not basketball fans because.
I'll be honest, when the game started, I just only felt the NBA Finals. It felt like a regular game, but I get what they're saying just because you're so used to seeing certain names in the NBA Finals.
Yeah.
But Chris Paul's a household name, Hall of Fame caliber player.
Yeah.
Then you got Giannis, Drew. You got a team full of guys that people enjoy watching. They're just not household names or something.
Yeah, and we're seeing the new stars of the NBA anyway. So this is great for the league because these are the new guys that you're gonna have to market because they've spent so many years building around LeBron, and LeBron's kind of starting to fade out, and the storyline with LeBron is not as interesting as it used to be. So it's like you need to start putting more effort into these other guys because if you don't, once LeBron leaves, it's just gonna be like looking around like, okay, who's next and all that. So this is definitely great for the league, especially for all these young players to get this experience. And I think there's only one player on each team that's been to the finals, and that's Jay Crowder.
Yep.
So this is great. All right, back to the Hawks. They hired Nate McMillan. They took off that interim role. They gave him the full-time head coaching job over there. It was like 4 years. Got that dinero, and it's a good move for the Hawks. Good moves. And this just looks worse and worse for the Pacers for getting rid of him because they had no reason to get rid of him. Then I believe they hired the guy that was fired that he took the interim role over.
Yeah, we don't worry about the Pacers over here. Shout out to McMillan. He's doing his thing. Keep getting great opportunities. So, he's a great coach.
Yeah, definitely.
And the NBA I feel like they're weeding out some of the recyclable coaches and guys with no backgrounds, and they're actually getting guys that played, got resumes, that know what's going on. And they've been in the coaching ranks. They lost jobs, got opportunities, and so they know what things are about. So I'm happy for him.
And he's had every team he's coached is always in the playoffs.
Yeah,
so he's
he's
always coaching playoff caliber teams.
He was coach of the year one year, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think.
Portland
Portland. I believe it was with Portland. I think it was when LaMarcus
Aldridge.
I believe so.
I'm not positive, but Brandon Roy is my guy. He light skinned.
No, it might have been later.
I don't know.
Yeah, it might have been later.
I've always been a Portland fan. It's like my dark horse team, third team I root for.
Yeah, but for McMillan, so when he took over the Hawks, they were 14-20, and then they closed out the season with a 27-11 record. They were out of the playoffs too before he started coaching, and they were able to get all the way to that 5 seed. So that was a good move. Good move for the Hawks. Also a good move for African American coaches because now they're seeing that give these guys players and time to develop, they can do stuff, and they just need more opportunities.
I mean, they're getting there.
They
Especially in the NBA, they're getting there.
Yeah. All right. NCAA. Players are now able to profit off their name, image, and likeness. That announcement was made last Thursday, and there were players already sharing that because already had endorsement deals or brand teaming up with companies, and this is good. This is long overdue. I know all these players are happy that now they could profit off of it. Even it's not only happening in the Division I level, which is probably the main focus, but it's also the Division II and III players are also benefiting off this, and it's been long overdue.
Yeah, man. Shout out for the young student athlete being able to get their bread, getting opportunity. I shout out for social media for making this possible. Because if it wasn't for social media, NCAA would be still trying to screw kids over.
Yeah.
Let's be real. They just crumbled under the pressure.
Yeah.
But there's so many people that got a voice now, so I'm happy for everyone. For the most part, do I get like some bread then?
I mean, you still got eligibility.
Nah, I got eligibility left. But they threw me in the fire immediately. That's what Coach said. He said, yo, I'm going to throw you in the fire, man. You either figure it out, you ride the bench.
Yeah.
I don't like sitting down too much.
Yeah, I hear that. Yeah, with social media now, these guys, a lot of them already have big social media followings. So it's not like they actually need to sign endorsement deals or team up with somebody. They could just have somebody. They could just post things with certain stuff and get paid off that.
And what the NCAA has to realize, people love watching your sport, but the youth, we get, I want to say, pulled in when we play the video games like that. March Madness is the NCAA college football. That keeps us wanting to know who's the next in line to play such and such. It's not like for adults, it's the sport. For the kids, it's the video games. So that's all we're concerned about. Bring March Madness and college football back.
Yeah. I think they are gonna bring it back, but now it's kind of you're kind of looking at it now. What is the future with college sports, especially college basketball and football? Because some of these guys, when they coming in from high school, they already have a big following. So it's kind of almost like the top tier players will kind of look at it like, do I really need to go anymore? Do I really? Because, they got the NBA got this G League stuff happening.
I mean, that's all personal choice. That's a family choice. Like, I tell people on my mother's side, I'm like the first college graduate, you know what I mean? And then on my dad's side, I'm in the list of people. So it's all about what your family wants for you, what you want to do for your family. If you're able to, make that bread right out of high school and you have the support from your family and you have fans, why not? Yeah. But if you don't have that, then you just go the regular route like every other human being. Yeah, I think it might actually incentivize some kids, these top players, to actually go to college for a year or two now, because the NCAA March Madness is such a big tournament, and everybody you get more fans.
Yeah, you get more players, and if you're a hooper, that's one thing you want to always experience to play in March Madness. So this could kind of help the NCAA have these kids stay a little longer if they want to.
That's also part of why when you play basketball, you want to play in college basketball. You just want to play in the tournament, just be around a cool atmosphere. Yeah. But, on the flip side, the G League can do what colleges do and have their players try to recruit guys so they can try to pull them in. Now you get to learn and hear about the experience that these G League guys are going through, Division I guys are going through, and you can decide what you want to do. So I just feel like there's more information out there for everybody now to educate themselves compared to me. I just knew about college. Wasn't thinking about no overseas. I was only 17. I wasn't even an adult yet. So it was one of them things that wasn't that educated in things. But there were some people who didn't know about prep school that I knew about prep school because my dad went to prep. So it was one of them things that just everybody has more resources to educate themselves, and then you're able to make better decisions because you know more about these things.
Yeah, and the players will have more control of the NCAA. I mean, you don't get what I'm saying. They'll have kind of more control of certain things than normally because the NCAA just try to control everything.
A famous parent can give a kid a ticket to go watch a professional basketball game because that's their dream and that's what they want to see, and it's just something to do. Yeah. So you shouldn't get chastised or games taken away because of that. It's just a gift. What's wrong with taking a gift from someone?
Yeah. It's been long overdue for the NCAA. Now all those guys, all those folks that are so against students making profits or making money, it's going to be a tough day for them.
You mean so against legal slavery?
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. And one of the biggest stories that came out last week was Carrie Richardson. She was suspended 30 days. It would miss the 100-meter race because of a failed test, a failed drug test. You know, she was smoking marijuana. She failed the test. And then yesterday it was announced that she won't be participating at all in the Olympics this year. The 4x100 relay team didn't pick her up because by the time her suspension was done, she'd be able to race in that one. But now they didn't pick her up for that, which I think is some nonsense. There's a whole lot of interesting things happening with the Olympics. So there's also, you hear about the cap issue with the swimmers, with the black swimmers and stuff. And then I don't know if you saw this one. I wrote it down. So Brianna Neal, she got a 5-year ban for attempted tampering with any part of a doping control. So the backstory with that, she had an abortion, and she took some meds. And apparently the meds, she didn't know the meds were, you know. So
these are all American people?
She is. And then there were these African from Namibia. These are two athletes who they were withdrawn from the 400-meter race by the World Athletics because I guess their testosterone levels were too high. But which. Yeah. I don't even understand
you
that.
just named a lot of cases. I kind of dazed off a little bit on the last one just because you were saying a lot. But to be honest, I was talking to somebody about the cap thing, the oversized cap thing. You can just braid your hair, put the cap on. It's not that serious. Me personally, I'm not swimming with an afro just because I just think it's going to slow me down because of the water consumption in your hair. It's not as aerodynamic as somebody with a bald head or somebody with a tight cap on. It's just common sense. So if you choose to do that, and, you know what I mean, that's fine. I don't think there's a big issue with that. I'm sure science will show that you're not faster with an oversized cap.
Yeah.
I mean, you might be able to float a little bit, but that's not making you faster swimming, you know what I mean, the distance of a pool and coming back. With the track thing, you know, like I was saying, the comedian said, like, U.S. always thinks it's all about us, and this is global. Mm-hmm. So I get it. Like, we live in a country where things are legal that usually aren't legal anywhere else in the world. So it's unfortunate, you know what I mean? I think she should be able to race, but I'm also a spoiled American talking for another American. So in our reality, like, there are a bunch of countries that signed this thing that agreed to you know what I mean, agree to these stipulations. So unfortunately,
I just think that some of these rules are outdated rules. They need to bring that to the table and need to change some of these rules.
The testosterone thing, I don't understand that part. I don't.
Because some people just have high testosterone without doing drugs.
If you're a man, you're just a man. Like, I don't understand how, like, I don't understand the high level. I just don't. What's the difference between a person with a high level and a person with low level testosterone? Like, how do they look? Is this one flex more than the other? Does one growl more than the other? Like, I don't get it. Like,
some of this stuff with the Olympics it's kind of been ridiculous. I mean, there's the whole thing that players, if they kneel, if they wear any protesting apparel,
that's
like Black Lives.
But I'm not even gonna watch the Olympics. I used to watch the Olympics because I like the experience. I like to see all that stuff. But like, I'm not gonna waste my time just because it kind of spit in the face of black people. Yeah. Not the United States, black people. Yeah. So
and most of these stuff that's been happening has been happening to black people. But with the Richardson thing, everybody's saying she should know better. She knew the rules and stuff like that. But everybody's just overlooking the fact of why she did it or what happened. Because you mean to tell me if you're just going about your day and then you're having an interview and then randomly the person tells you your mom died and you have no idea about it, how are you supposed to react? Especially if that's a way, a coping mechanism for you. Like, how are you supposed to react to that? And then all of a sudden, everybody's a rule follower now. Everybody now follows rules and stuff. I'm like, yo, half y'all was in detention half the time talking about following rules.
I was wild growing up in college. It was a little different too, but but only thing I would say is somebody of this caliber and running track and the level she's at, where was her support system at? Granted, her mother passed. Where was her team to coddle her when she was in this situation? Yeah. To kind of just to keep themselves around her so she wouldn't do something like this.
Even like
and if she did do something like this, why didn't they get her the proper things to flush out her system in a certain amount of time or things of that nature? or some other things. Like,
Yeah, and for someone brought up the bigger picture is like how these organizations, how are you dealing or how are you helping your athletes cope with mental health or tragic events like this? Because how do you? And I don't know how old she is, but she's probably like in her early 20s or something. Like she's still kind of like she's still a kid, so it's kind of like yo.
and unfortunately, we live in a country where we actually value mental health. In the world, I don't think is on that yet. To be honest with you, I mean, we live in some of these countries are still abiding by some of the wildest of laws and rules. So I don't think they even consider those things. They just say weed banned, don't care.
Yeah.
Because some countries that it's 13 years straight, they find anything on you. Boom.
Yeah.
They don't even ask no questions. You barely get a trial. They decide when you go to trial.
Yeah.
So they don't value certain things, which I wish every country valued certain things. 'Cause mental health is serious everywhere.
Yeah, seriously. Now she can't even live her dream because she's a track star. And all their dreams is to run in the Olympics, run the 100-meter dash. And she was probably her and the Jamaican woman that also broke records. Those were the two must watches for that race. So now she's not gonna get this experience, and for them not to even pick her up for the 4x100 relay team is kind of ridiculous.
Because that's the article I saw. The headline saying she was expected to run in it.
Yeah.
So it's like if somebody's that nice, you just pick her up just because she's there. Like,
Yeah.
What's wrong with y'all? Like y'all are man stupid.
Yeah,
For that.
and her suspension would have been up by then. So it's
And it allows her to prove something that she smoked a little something, but it's not gonna make you a faster person.
Yeah, it's not.
It doesn't help you. So in all reality, it shows how hard she's working. And
I want to know if she was smoking before all them races that she was breaking them records.
So like, nobody says anything about what professional athletes do. You know what I mean? Their day to day and then after games and things like that. And I get it. The Olympics. You train for 4 years, so you really shouldn't do anything when you spent that much time perfecting a skill. But when certain circumstances happen. Like, we're fortunate to still have our mothers, so, I don't ever want to know what that's like. No time soon.
And also, this is another thing. It's the punishment for marijuana, the overly, like, the days, and we've got people that are in jail from, like, the 80s doing for, like, having small marijuana, for, like, little grams of marijuana. Now, 30 days for failed tests because of marijuana. It's like, yo. Like, it's like we still look at marijuana as probably one of the worst things in the world, yet people are still making lots of money off it, but there's still these conditions like, oh, yeah, you smoke marijuana, we're giving you this amount of days.
We live in a country where we have truth commercials that have body bags around tobacco manufacturing buildings and the corporate offices, and they still legally sell them.
Yeah.
Like, we got liquor stores everywhere, and there's bars everywhere, and there's one cop on patrol at the bar. He watches multiple people leave every night from the bar. And he watches them drive home drunk.
Yeah.
And that's logical. But if you get pulled over, you get caught driving drunk, it's a DUI.
You get caught with a little gram of marijuana. Well, some states have changed that law, but some...
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We live in a backwoods country, like something that grows naturally, and you can drop a seed or something in your backyard, and something might grow. That's natural. These things are manufactured and they're legal, and this thing is natural and it's illegal. Like, we've always lived backwards. Like, you know what I mean? It's the whole racist thing. Like, people just mad at people because you can tan. Like, that's like, come on. Like, what are you mad about?
Yeah, there's numerous cases of people who almost want to be who they are because of something that happened in their youth because of marijuana. I mean, Randy Moss is a perfect example. They tried to put him in jail. Well, he got in a high school fight. They like made him a big old trying to make him a big criminal for a high school fight, which happens everywhere. Then he back home from college, he smoked a little weed and they took away his scholarship. They tried to put him back in jail. It's like they was trying to legit just have this man waste his life over like the smallest things, like the smallest things.
But they say like weed's poor man drug, coke rich man drug. So and I went to certain schools and I had there were certain type of kids that what they call it, booger sugar.
Yeah.
So it's just unfortunately they know who to target, just because they know where to find it.
If Sha'Carri Richardson did some opioids, they'd have a whole lot of sympathy for her and find a way to have her race. That's all.
Oh yeah.
That's. You can't tell me nothing different, because what we've seen, how people have so much sympathy for folks that use opioids.
Yeah, she was fair skinned, blonde hair.
Yeah. They were already questioning if she was actually a woman too.
For one, that's insulting.
Very.
You need to slap whoever wrote that article was thinking about that. And you heard about the steroid thing, talking about the hair and the nails. It's like, you guys are reaching now, because that's just straight ridiculous.
Yeah. All right, we're going to go to some highlights here. All right. First off, we're going to go to Lights Out Gym Summer League from Monday's play. Check these highlights out. Had one of my favorite moments in there, too. All right. We're going to go back to 1991's opening round of the state tournament. Lynn Classical versus Amesbury. Yep. All right, and we are back. All right, we're going to go back to 2003, some high school football. Saugus versus Lynn Classical. Check this one out. are back. All right, let's go around the world of sports. The Red Sox, they dropped one last night to the Angels, 5-3. Granted, they beat them the night before, 5-4. So they're 54-33 right now. They're still in for their first place in the AL East, and I believe they just got a couple All-Stars named on the team. I know Rafael Devers was named in All-Star. Xander Bogaerts was named an All-Star. A couple other players were named All-Stars for the Red Sox. This Red Sox team is very, very fun to watch. They're a good thing, too, because there's a lot of happy people, especially in Boston.
And after the finals, I will stop watching them. Now, I was watching the game the other night, actually.
Yeah.
They was up 1-0 against somebody. I can't think of who they playing though.
No. Yeah, right now they were in a series with the Angels, with pretty much the guy that's going to be the league MVP, most likely Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah, the game I watched him, he bummed it.
Oh, yeah.
I got to see a good game. Yeah, I was hearing all this stuff. He was on the show talking about I caught the game, and I was like, oh, man, he got lit up. Dude had like 4 runs on him. I was like, oh.
I think
Game my pick.
He was supposed to be. Well, they were interested in signing him a few years ago when he was coming over here back in, I think it was like 2017, 2018.
Well, I guess that's interesting to know.
Yeah,
that they were interested, even though
they
weren't that interested.
You know how them players over there, how you got to pay to talk to them and stuff.
Oh, yeah. I forgot he ain't American.
Yeah, nah.
He looked kind of American.
Yeah, a little bit. He looked like he grew up here.
I thought he did.
Yeah, nah, man.
My bad.
But they got it good, too, though. Them Asian players, they got it good because
I mean, bro, they got to pay to talk to you.
You got to pay to talk. And it's not like little money, too. You got to pay some figures just to talk to them.
Briefcase, please. How may I help you?
Some sketchy business, though.
Yeah, it's business.
Yeah. All right, the Stanley Cup Finals, the Tampa Bay Lightnings, they're trying to get the win back-to-back championships. They're going to look to do that tonight. They're up 3-1 on Montreal. Montreal forced Game 5 the other day, squeaking out a victory.
Hanging on.
Yeah, they're hanging on, but they're hanging on for dear life. So I think Tampa Bay is going to get it. Tampa Bay. Good things are happening with Tampa Bay ever since Brady got down there. Won a Super Bowl, about to win it. Back-to-back Stanley Cups. Like, damn.
Yeah. I mean, I guess some good places have their time.
And the thing about Tampa Bay, it's not even like a sports town.
Yeah.
It's not.
Old people. I think Greg's parents live out there, so yeah, I know.
It's not a sports town. There's nothing but old people over there. Old retired people. This just in. Suns forward Dario Saric, he suffered a torn ACL. Game 1.
I was hoping it was just like a little, I want to say bone bruise,
Yeah.
or like, bang knees or something. I seen him limping. I knew it wasn't good though.
Yeah, man, it's tough for him. And he would have been big for this series with his size and the way he could stretch the floor. So
He could play.
Yeah, that was tough for him. All right, the European Championships. Italy beat Spain last night or yesterday morning after whatever they played yesterday. They beat them in penalty kicks 4-2. They are in the finals.
Oh, you talking about soccer?
Yeah, yes, sir.
I think talking about basketball. They hooping too. But
Yeah, they're doing the friendlies now.
Yeah, that's why I didn't know what you talking about first. My bad.
We'll get to that in a second. We'll get to that in a second. Yeah, Italy's in 4-2 in penalty kicks. Right now, England and Denmark is playing to see who will go to that title game. Right now, it's currently tied 1-1, and that one, I ain't rooting for none of those dudes. I think I'm just rooting for Italy just because to win it all.
I mean, I like Italian food.
Yeah.
So I'll go with them. I like Spanish food too, but I've never had any food from Spain, so I can't really like Dominican food and all that good stuff.
Yeah, Spain was the closest thing we could have rooted for. But, I try not to root for.
Italy it is.
Yeah, Italy it is. There's a lot of European countries I don't root for other reasons, but
Yeah,
I guess.
I don't touch those reasons.
Yeah. The Italians gave us The Sopranos, I guess.
Gave me ravioli.
They gave us Mario and Luigi.
This is true. I hope this is true. I know you didn't research that, did you?
No, I didn't. Mario's Italian, Luigi's Italian.
That'd be they are brothers.
Yeah. And Wario. The locked up cousin.
Thought he was there. Yeah, you're right.
Slovenia. Did you see them celebrating like crazy? They punched their ticket to the Olympics. They qualified for the Olympics the other day. Yeah. So the whole team, Luka was doing a press conference, and the whole team just crashed the press conference, singing, chanting their national anthem, taking their shirts off, throwing water.
So they haven't really been that successful.
No, I think
making it to the Olympics.
No, this is their first time in a while. Because I remember Luka said it. He said it after they lost the series. It was like he wants to help them get to the Olympics for a while.
That's dope, man. That's dope.
Yeah.
Congratulations to Luka, man.
Yeah, that's the great thing about the Olympics. You see all the country pride with the players come into play, especially for those that get to experience it.
And you understand where they come from and how hard some of these players work, because some of these guys got a whole country on their back.
Yeah. So
like Luka.
Yeah. Team USA, they started their training. They're out in Vegas right now. I wish I was in Vegas with them.
I mean, it's hot like Vegas out here.
Woo! Tell me about it. So they got a few games before they actually go start the Olympics. So when does the Olympics start?
Bro, you asking the wrong person.
Pedro, you know when the Olympics start?
Sometime in August.
No.
Appreciate you.
Come on, Todd.
For that.
Oh man.
Sometime in August. I could have made that up.
Well, Olympics start sometime in August. I'm sorry, I don't have the date for you. Boston Celtics. They hired Damon Stoudemire. He will be on their coaching staff. He was.
I'm a big Arizona fan, so yeah, that's what's up.
That ain't why he's laughing though. That ain't why he's laughing. He's So he was coaching in the West Coast Conference. I believe it was Pacific. When he got there was 8-20.
Yeah, he's over there.
Yeah, when he was then turned it around 20 and they finished with 20 wins. I think they made the tournament.
Okay.
West Coast Conference regular season champions and stuff like that. So Udoka, he's putting together. So he's putting together a staff of hoopers. That's
light skin hoopers. Nah, I'm just playing. Team GQ, they about to be called.
Okay. I don't know if you saw this one, but this is NFL. So N'Keal Harry apparently requested a trade from the Patriots through his agent. His agent sent out a statement like yesterday. I was reading it, and in one of it said he's not being used properly, and his down the field abilities are not properly being used. I'm paraphrasing, but that was some of the things said. Here's the state. For the past several months, I have been working in cooperation with the Patriots behind the scenes to put a plan in place to allow N'Keal to thrive in New England. Through 2 seasons, he has 86 targets, which is obviously hasn't met the expectations of the Patriots and N'Keal had when they drafted a dominant downfield threat.
Now,
who was virtually unstoppable at the point of attack in college. Following numerous conversations with the Patriots, I believe it's time for a fresh start and best for both parties. If N'Keal moves on before the start of training camp, that is why I have informed the Patriots today. I am formally requesting a trade on behalf of my client.
I heard a bunch of mumbo jumbo, a bunch of words just put on paper because he didn't give me what I wanted to hear. He said 86 targets. How many catches? I didn't hear one real stat in there that made me even want to listen.
Well,
how many catches?
He says 86 targets. That's what he said, right?
Yes, I heard that.
That was the targets.
I heard that clearly.
Well, on this page I'm looking at right now, this says he's been targeted 81 times in his career. That's 33. Yes, this is his 2-year career. 33 catches, 309 yards, 2 touchdowns. His longest catch was 30 yards.
So you mean to tell me he got like a 33 catch percentage, and he got the nerve of his agent over here talking crazy? And that's just, I didn't even do the math. That's just me. I'm all right with percentages, but like that's about 30-some percentage and around that, maybe low 40.
Yeah.
But like, that's not even 50%. That's not even like if I throw it to you, I know 50% of the time you're gonna catch it. Like that's iffy.
All right. We got to go to the top 10 because we can't go in on N'Keal Harry like we have. But he's last year 57 targets, 33 receptions, 300 last year. Woo. Let's go to the top 10.
Should have said 50 catches.
All right, and we are back. We're coming. It's time for us to go. At some point, my boy Kevin, he about to be a father soon. Like the baby's due any day now, so he's about that time for him to be daddy. That little boy should be popping out anytime, maybe this week or so. So yeah, when that happens, we'll let you know. Yeah, I don't got nothing much. What you got? You got anything?
Rob's birthday's tomorrow, so bro, happy birthday.
Yes, sir.
And yeah, man, that's it for the most part.
Yeah, that's it. LynnTV.org. Make sure you go to the website. Check us out. LCTV After the Whistle Instagram. It's the Burton 23 on Instagram. Mukala Kate on Instagram. Make sure you check that out. Oh, speaking of players profiting off their likeness, we're working on something with Jalen Echeverria, who's signed a deal with the company in Boston to, make some money off of that. So got a little sign we working on. You guys will see it soon. So on that note, have a great day, ladies and gentlemen, and be safe. And we'll see you guys again next week, same time.